So, as always, with the roundtables, we encourage you to mute your mic when necessary, but then at the end, we really do want everybody to come off and share with us. Just makes it easier. Listen deeply. When we say that, we mean like really absorb what other people are saying. I used to tease my daughter that I'm like, I don't think you're listening to your friends so much as you're just waiting to talk again. And so you really want to make sure that you're always listening. You want to really embrace things, yes, and that's not just something we say with improv, but just, how can I take this back to my group? How can I make this my own? What would I do with this? Move with intention. If you are going to take it back to your group, like, here's how I would adapt it maybe for my group or whatnot. And as always, be patient with technology because it kind of stinks sometimes. So now for today's chat storm, if you want to open up your chat, what is your favorite part of the support group? Is it just the fact that it's a scheduled activity and you're kind of like, I need more scheduled activities? I often joke with people, everybody thinks retirement's going to be so great, but it's sometimes like at a certain point, you're like, what am I doing today? Like there's a lot going on. It could just be, I enjoy the snacks. Some people, I can walk into this room and everybody understands where I'm coming from. So there's an empathy there that people really love about a support group. That, you can say things and people will say, hey, yeah, that's exactly what it is. And so Ellen said it's the networking and the resources. Stephanie says it's the community and the understanding, understanding is huge. When you walk someplace, when you go in and people get where you're coming from, that's a big deal because you feel heard, you feel seen when people can really understand where you're coming from. Kelly said connection. These are all really important things. So thank you for sharing. And today we're just going to be kind of talking about, it's Parkinson's Awareness Month. What are some things your group is doing? We'll be discussing that in the breakout rooms and everything. Just sharing some insight, because one thing I remember when I started my position at University of South Florida's Parkinson's Disease and Movement Disorder Center, I had to do outreach. And they were basically just like, okay, you're hired, create a program. And I'm like, oh, okay. And luckily for me, we had a conference probably only about 3 or 4 weeks since I started. And I got to meet with all these other outreach coordinators at their centers and hear what they were doing. And that's how I got so many ideas. Like we started PD 101. We started what we called summer school. I knew about support groups, but then I thought about, finding resources in the community, because we did see a lot of people who didn't necessarily live in Tampa but would travel. And so I wanted people to have resources near them. So this is just a chance to hear what other people are doing so you don't have to reinvent the wheel or come up with everything on your own. So what are some things PMD is doing? Well, we had an in-person event last weekend in Woodbridge, Virginia. And this weekend, we're going to be taking our show on the road. We're going to be in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania and Lewisburg, Pennsylvania. So if you're near us, come see us. We've done some things online. Bladder relief, share your story to raise awareness. I'm really excited for Wednesday's program with the Orange County Tremble Clefs. If you saw them in December, they did holiday songs. Here they're going to be doing some songs for spring, which is always fun. More than motor symptoms. This to me is a great program on April 18th. What are you not telling your doctor? Because so many times we go to our doctors, I don't want to say we lie, but we don't always give the full truth and stuff. We have a panel discussion on April 22nd, and then we do have a discussion on deep brain stimulation on April 30th. But then there's also the PD Avengers. PDAvengers.com. They have a lot of stuff going on. I really encourage you to do. They're doing the dopamine dance, which I think is going to be really cool if you want to record yourself doing it. Again, they're going to post all that for World Parkinson's Day. I think that could be really fun. Spark the Night, I've already put in to have there are all the bridges in Tampa Bay light up. So I put in to get them just to go that shade of blue. And then we have one SunTrust building that does light up the top of it, usually in a lot of different colors, but I asked specifically for the blue. I, put in all the paperwork and stuff. So again, it would just be cool if we get it to do. So there's some information about Spark the Night. I know that they've already requested for the Empire State Building to be in blue. So there's a lot of landmarks and stuff that they're trying to do. So if you have something near you that would potentially fall under this category, again, just see what you can do. And the Sit to Stand Challenge, we actually did do this on this past Saturday with people at our program doing the Sit to Stand Challenge. Again, it's just something it's just something fun you can participate in if somebody were to tape you, and then you could be part of this to show that you're keeping things safe. Parkinson's Disease Foundation, a lot of good stuff going on with them. They always have their Mindfulness Mondays. But I will say some good things. Some of them, again, when I made these slides, I was thinking we'd be meeting on the 1st. So a couple of them have passed, but April 10th, April 17th, I really encourage you to get on their website, www.parkinson.org, and just see what they're doing this month. Davis Finney has some really great stuff going on too. Again, if you go to their website, you can actually click on these and see them. And when we send you these slides and stuff, you'll have the actual links and everything. So it's just a lot of good stuff is going on that we really encourage people to participate in. So really, I guess I want to know, what is your group doing for Parkinson's Breakout? For Parkinson's Breakout Month. Just if you want to share some information with each other, just encourage so that this way people are not reinventing the wheel. If you're like, oh, we do this every year and people love it, share that. That's what we want to hear. But as always, I always say, this is just a guide. If you guys talk about something else entirely in your breakout rooms, that's cool too. These are your groups and you lead them. So again, it's just whatever you feel comfortable with. Kelly's going to put you in the breakout rooms. You don't need to do anything. And we'll see you all in about 50 minutes or so. 50 minutes. Yeah, about 55 minutes. So now is the fun time where we get to share back what we did. And of course, I always say it's okay if you didn't listen to what I suggested. I hope you guys just had a great discussion. So let's hear from room 1. We have Anne, we have Barbara and Katie, we have Bernard, we have Devin, we have Karen Williams, we've got Lisa, and we've got Naomi. Who'd like to come off mute and share?
I'm going to nominate Bernard, or maybe Karen.
Yeah, I just nominated Bernard. He's got 2 votes.
You were just voluntold, Bernard.
You're muted. You're muted, Bernard.
You're muted. All these women just always bossing you around.
Am I coming through now?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Well, I'm happy to say out of about 50 minutes of cat time, we only had 1 minute of silence.
Mm-hmm.
We had a very active and lively discussion, led by our fearless leader, room leader. And we shared first, initially we introduced ourselves and we shared things that our various groups were doing for Parkinson's Awareness Month. And as the on that grew, we also talked about a few support group challenges. And so one of our group is volunteering to list all the programs she's done for 14 years. So for those of you who would like a good, not beyond primer, but a good list of recommendations for topics that your support group could talk about. I assume that's going to be posted somewhere where everybody can get to it. That was a
I want
question.
that.
Yes. So maybe if you send it to Eden, Eden can send it back out to all of us, because 14 years worth of programming is quite impressive.
Yeah. I'm putting my email in the chat.
And then the
I'll
last thing I'll say, because I think it's really important for this group, is we started talking about the importance of everybody just getting out and talk. Everybody can do a little bit to raise awareness of Parkinson's disease. And so we started sharing little stories of what's happened since we came out of the closet and started talking more about Parkinson's and raising awareness, and all the way from convincing people that Parkinson's is not a death sentence, that you can live with Parkinson's, like our own personal stories and what we can do. And also just encouraging people to come out themselves who may have kept their Parkinson's diagnosis quiet. Now I'll leave it for anybody else in the room to add.
I am a little curious though. Also, what did you guys discuss as far as problems with your support group?
Well, it's not so much problems, but everybody always has the challenge of figuring out what programming and how to attract more people.
Okay.
Yeah, Anne had to step away for a few minutes, but she's just starting a group. And it's typical for people in that position. Well, how do you get the information out? How do you get people involved, programs? And that's when I offered to send my list. I said, take a look at it. Probably be some good ideas there. And I also referred people to our website, which has a wealth of information on it. And some other groups might have websites too, which have information and also connections to some of the national organizations and things like that. Bernard, I don't know whether you mentioned, but there was some conversation between those of us in Santa Cruz, Monterey, and Morgan Hill talking about putting our heads together and maybe kind of looking at the big picture and seeing how we can work together to get the message out, or to, do something together, which I think is really exciting. And I think Naomi in Monterey is going to help us get together, maybe not in person, but online. I think Bernard thought maybe an online meeting initially might be a good idea. But I think that's an exciting idea, is to get together with other groups and other people in other counties.
And Karen generously invited us all to join her support group.
Everybody's coming. One of the things I like to tell people when they call me, and sometimes they've been recently diagnosed or just moved to the area, I said, if you've got to have Parkinson's, Santa Cruz is the place to be, because there's so much to do here. And there really is. It's an extremely active group. It's real. We have a good time, really. I mean, we lose people. I mean, there are some sad times, because Parkinson's, inevitably progresses. But in the meantime, people enjoy being with each other and doing things together and just sort of celebrating life.
I got to say, Karen, you've kind of set the bar pretty high, but Hawaii is going to be right behind you.
Great. What island are you on, Lisa?
Oahu. I'm outside Honolulu.
Okay. Go for it. You can do it.
Spread the aloha. Anything else from group 1 that you'd like to share? Anything you thought maybe got forgotten? Awesome. I know Bernard, he's thorough, so I'm not surprised. But if anybody had anything they wanted to chime in with. What about group 2? Group 2, we had Ellen, we had Jay McCurry, we had Patty, we had Randy, we had Roger, and we had Stephanie. Who wants to come off mute and share?
I will.
Okay.
We pretty much talked, Miss McCurry is new, so we were pretty much giving her some ideas on how to start her support groups and, how to keep them going and getting more people. And let's see. We had a lot of suggestions about Patty suggested giving everyone a piece of paper, putting their name in the middle, major symptoms in one corner, date diagnosed in another corner, and just, have questions around the page and then put them on your shirt. And then everybody can meet everybody in the group that way. They can, look at their shirt and discuss what's on their shirt, on their piece of paper.
Mhm.
Uh, Introduce yourselves, go around the room. We talked about people that are monopolize, the
Happens.
whole thing, and how to deal with that. I know that when Eden starts every one of our things, she starts with rules. And that was one of the things that we discussed, was having the rules right up front.
Mhm.
And, one of the rules could be, if you have a problem, talk about it for a couple minutes and then let everyone else share,
Mhm.
so that you're not, one person isn't monopolizing.
Mhm.
Um, uh, Roger came up with a book from, I think it was Roger, that is, it's called I Am Rocksteady, and it's through the Rocksteady boxing. He said it's a very good book. Someone came up with Parkinson sheets. Yes, Roger did come up with it. There is a website called comfortlinen.com that sells Parkinson's sheets and pajamas and stuff. So I'm very interested in that. Oh, and we did the care kits for the hospitals.
Mhm.
Mhm. So, and we said that every victory, yes, every victory counts. Yes. Yes. So we shared a lot with Miss McCurry.
Mhm.
I
So,
might add 2 points. The video library is the golden nugget. You can watch them offline. You can spend 24 hours a day watching
mhm.
video library. And Eden, can you share to save meeting notes? I always print out the notes. It's a second golden opportunity to refer back to golden nuggets.
Mhm.
If you click on um, the dots at the top of your chat, so for me it says April support group leader roundtable. It'll say
Or
more,
bottom, mine's at
and
the
that's how you
bottom.
save your chat. So you can always go back to it. Kelly did also put the support group leader reference guide in our chat. We have actually done online trainings. We're going to be getting one that you can watch on demand, but also if you need any help or you've got questions, Clemmy, who's usually here, but she has something else because this is not our usual time. She has office hours every Monday, 4 to 8 p.m. So you can give her a call later if you'd like, or reach out to her via chat, via email, because we really do want support groups to be successful. That's the whole reason we do this, is because it's so important. Like several of you said, you go to a support group, you get connection. And that's incredible. We really want you to maintain that connection. But one of the biggest things we always say to a support group leader, you don't have to have all the answers. No one does. No one is Yoda. Nobody knows everything. And that's okay. You just kind of do the best you can. And sure, sometimes you are like, well, what happens when somebody takes over the group? They monopolize the conversation. And some people will say, well, I do this. Others will say, I do that. Others are like, I just hate it because I'm uncomfortable and I don't want to get confrontational.
Mhm.
Again, you're going to handle it your way, but that's the point of these meetings. It's a support group for support group leaders. So you guys can come and kind of say, hey, how's everybody else doing this? How are you handling this? What are you doing in your group? Like, I really do want, if you email me the 40, that you've been doing all these years, because sometimes some of the best programs are when you go outside of the box. Like, one of my favorite programs was she helped seniors downsize, and she had like the top 10 rules we hold on to our stuff. And again, this was not specific to Parkinson's, but it was basically about how decluttering will create less anxiety. And don't we all need that? And isn't that cool? Or I've had laugh experts. And if any of you guys have ever done with a laugh expert, when you're there, you're kind of like, well, this is silly. Like after everything, they're like, ha, 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 ho, 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 hee, hee, hee. But the thing is that your body doesn't know if you're faking it. And so halfway through the session, you're going to be like, I feel pretty good. Again, not necessarily specific to Parkinson's. It's always wonderful if you can have a movement disorder specialist speak, or the nurse practitioner, occupational therapist, speech therapist, physical therapist, all the usual suspects. But sometimes you go outside the box and you're like, this was really a cool program. This was good. People really enjoyed this.
Art therapy is gaining recognition. It taught me how to not say I can't, but I can. Art therapy is wonderful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
And I'll give kudos to all the ladies there, angels unaware.
Yeah. Anything else from group 2 that you thought you did discuss, but maybe were forgotten? Anybody have anything else they'd like to share? Otherwise, I will give you some of your time back. Okay. Well, I thank you everybody for joining us today. I know it's a lot going on right now, being Parkinson's Awareness Month. We're so glad you decided to spend some time with us, and we will be back on the first Monday in May. Again, though, I do encourage everybody, the Tremble Cluffs are going to be here on Wednesday, so I really encourage that NeuroLife online, because I know it's going to be awesome. Again, sometimes just singing really gets your dopamine up, so I encourage it. I'm going to wish everybody a wonderful rest of the week, and I hope to see you guys soon. Bye, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.